When you are trying to heal and create transformation, you are focusing on the wrong thing. And I don't mean you don't understand the issue at hand, but instead, what I'm saying is that you're focusing in the wrong place. And the mistake that you're making is you're focusing on the issue at hand. This week, we are continuing our healing and transformation series as we look at the place that you should actually start when you are creating healing and transformation. And by starting here, it's going to make all the difference in the world. This is Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 577, originally aired September 20th, 2023. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Today, we are continuing our healing and transformational fundamental series with fundamental number 13. And this particular fundamental is one of my favorites, and it's going to completely transform the way you approach healing as you go after the issues that are in front of you. Not only are you going to get better results, but it's actually going to be a gentler process as you create that transformation. Before we jump into that, as we are creating healing and we are creating transformation, what we need to have is we need to have tools that are really useful in allowing us to do exactly that. Simply knowing the root cause and all of the other stuff that we're going to be talking about today is not enough to create healing and transformation. You actually need an effective tool. And for me, that tool is tapping. I use it daily with myself. I use it with my clients all of the time. If you are new to tapping, all you need to do is follow that little red arrow in the upper right-hand corner, which is going to take you to learntotap.com. There you will find all of the fundamentals for everything that we are talking about here. So as you go through this 20-part series on healing and transformational fundamentals, you will have an easy tool that you can reach for so you can implement these ideas and create the change and transformation you want in your life. The fundamental that we are looking at today that just transformed the way I think about healing and transformation to make it more effective and make it more easier is something that I just simply refer to as the emotion about the issue. And basically, every single time we have an experience, in addition to that experience, there is an emotional response we have to the experience. I have dinner. I can feel satisfied. I can feel dissatisfied. I can feel excited because I got to try something new. So there was the act of eating, and then there was the emotional response to eating that particular thing. Now, how that shows up in transformation was actually taught to me in the middle of a client session. I was working with a client of mine who had twisted her ankle while she was jogging. And so we were doing some tapping around the pain, the discomfort, trying to speed the healing process along. And as we were going through the process, for some reason, out of nowhere, I asked the question, how do you feel about the fact that you've injured your ankle? And she gave a long sigh and she said, I can't believe how stupid I am. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? She said, I was running on the grass. And I know when I'm training and doing this sort of running, I need to be running on a flat surface. And because I was running on the grass, I stepped on a hole or a mound or something and I twisted my ankle. And I feel so stupid because I know better than that. So what we then did is we took a few minutes and we tapped on the emotion about feeling stupid and making that particular mistake. And so in the process of doing that, we cleared an obstacle to the actual issue itself. Because on a subconscious level, there was a part of her that was feeling as if I am stupid, therefore being injured is my just reward for being stupid and running on the grass. And so if she is in a situation where subconsciously she thinks the physical pain is a punishment, well, then of course her system is going to get in the way of the healing because the system feels like she needed to be punished and she needed to learn a lesson from what was going on. And once we got past the feeling stupid and we did a little forgiveness work about making the choice that she made, all of a sudden it created the circumstance. So she was no longer creating psychological barriers to the transformation she wanted to create. And so for me, whenever I am presented with an issue in my own life or something my client has, I love to ask the question, what is the emotion you feel about the fact that you are experiencing this, that you're struck in this, that this is what is going on? And we start with that emotion. And we can actually take that a step further, because it is possible that I can have an emotion about the issue. So I could twist my ankle like my client. I could feel really stupid because I know better. And then I could feel really frustrated at the fact that I am being too hard on myself. And so I now have the issue. I have the I feel stupid, and I'm disappointed and frustrated in myself. And with all of the experiences we can have an emotion about the emotion, 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 about the issue, that I can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And so for me, oftentimes I think about this transformational process kind of like a gobstopper or a jawbreaker, where you have a sweet tart in the middle and there are these colorful candy shells that are around it. The sweet tart in the middle, that little crunchy thing that dissolves very, very easily, is the issue at hand, where each of the hard candy shells are the emotions about the issue. And it's really hard to bite through a jawbreaker, thus the name jawbreaker. It breaks your jaw. But if you suck on it, and the red layer goes away, and then the blue layer goes away, and then the green layer goes away, and you take it out and you look at it, and you can see it getting smaller and smaller. By the time you get to the middle of that sweet tart center, you can just crush it, and it dissolves very easily. I have found this to be exactly true in our transformational process as well. So when we work on the emotion about the issue, or the emotion about the emotion about the issue, or the emotion about the emotion about the emotion about the issue, what we're doing is we're working in very gentle, simple steps. Because it's really significantly easier for me to deal with the fact that I'm disappointed in myself for judging myself as stupid because I twisted my ankle. So I just start with that judgment piece. And so that when that goes away, then I'm left with the forgiveness piece for doing something dumb. And again, that is a small bite-sized piece. And so what this does is it makes the healing process easier, because we're just taking the things a step at a time, but it also makes the healing process gentler. So it's easier for us to be in a contained space, because if I just go to the root cause, one, I might not be able to see it because of all of the emotions that are in the way. And two, if I just go straight to the root cause, I also have to deal with all of the emotions that are there as well. And so I'm not dealing with an issue, but I might be dealing with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 issues at the same time, which is so much harder. And so the way that you introduce this into your tapping is so super simple. The moment you think of something that you want to tap on, ask yourself the question, what do I feel about the fact that I am in this situation? And so for me, this is, again, one of the reasons why I love writing things down when I'm working on a session is I write down the issue and then I ask myself the question, so how do I feel about the fact I'm experiencing this? And I write that down emotion. Then I ask myself the question, how do I feel about the fact that I'm feeling that particular emotion? So again, to go back to our example, I was feeling stupid and I was feeling disappointed in myself for judging myself so harshly. So disappointed and frustration. Then I take another step and I go, okay, how do I feel about the fact that I'm disappointed and frustrated about the circumstance? Now, there might be another emotion there, or there might not. But the moment I run out of emotions to these questions, that's the place that I start. So if I'm writing these things down and I have the root cause, then I have an emotion, and then I have an emotion, and then I have an emotion, then on my list, I'm just going to work my way up from the bottom. I'm going to work on that bottom emotion, then I'm going to work on the next emotion. And as I knock out a couple of emotions, what I might actually do recursively is tune back into the issue at hand and notice what's there. Because sometimes what happens where we have these multiple layers of emotions is when I clear an outside layer, I might actually clear 2 or 3 of the outside layers. And I just get closer and closer. So even if I end up in a circumstance where I have a thing that I want to tap on and 4 emotions that are there, that might feel like I have 5 things to tap on. But the reality is, as I knock those out, it's possible that I'm getting the other parts that are connected. And again, to go back to our jawbreaker experience, each time I make a layer go away, the issue gets smaller and the issue gets smaller and the issue gets smaller. So there might be a spot where I'm able to knock the entire thing out with one last round of tapping. So that is the reason why I love the idea of the emotion about the issue so much. It gives us a very simple entry point that is significantly easier to work with. And because I'm slowly chipping away at the issue, when I finally get to the root cause, it's going to be so much smaller and so much easier for me to do. Now, that's not to say it's going to be smaller, easy, but it's going to be smaller and easier, which is going to make the transformational process go so much smoother. And most importantly, it's going to go so much safer because we're not going to be bumping into too many emotions all at once. So that is fundamental number 13 on your screen right now. You can see a little link to the entire series. If you haven't listened to the previous ones, just click on that. And every single week we're adding a new one of these. So depending on when you're listening to this or watching this, they all might be there already.